From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
All right. Hey, this is the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk, the bonus episode, the bonus news podcast and video for the Edge of the Web radio episode 364. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks. Joining me this week to get his take on digital marketing news is Max Yoder of Lessonly. Max, how you doing, sir?
It's good to be here, Aaron. Hey, did I hear 364?
364.
Wow, we're almost a year into episodes, man. That's big. That's big. That's very cool. Good job.
That's 9 years of episodes, all packed. If we were doing an episode a day, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess what I mean is if I watch an episode a day now, it would take me a year. That's pretty cool.
Oh, what an incredible challenge.
There we go.
I don't know if anybody, I don't even know if my staff here would take on that challenge. I think they'd go nuts.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, all right. We got to plan on that and give some sort of bonus prize out there for anybody that actually does the year challenge.
Oh, we get a bonus for
you
all of
don't?
them?
No. Our listeners out there. All right, so have a look at our first article, and there's a lot of news happening in this space. From Search Engine Land by Matt Southern, the Google CEO says companies' continued success is not guaranteed. So Google CEO Sundar Pichai testified before U.S. Congress as part of an inquiry into the company's market dominance. He actually joined a number of the other big tech CEOs there from Apple as well as from Amazon, Jeff Bezos, as well as Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. So point is that, and again, we're not taking a dog in this fight from Edge of the Web, but we wanted to certainly convey the information out there, is that there's a lot of scrutiny over what big tech is and the dominance that's out there. And the Google CEO actually said something pretty telling here. He was saying that, just as America's technology, this is a quote, just as America's technology leadership is not inevitable, Google's continued success is not guaranteed. New competitors emerge every day, and today users have more access to information than ever before. Competition drives us to innovate and also leads us to better products, lower prices, and more choices for everyone. So that's a great statement. We certainly see the expanse of Google, but yeah, you better believe there's never a case where the success of a company is predicted. But with that particular positioning statement, there are some challenging times right now, just looking at what fairness is in the marketplace as well. So, Max, what's your thoughts about this article as we kind of digest what's happening on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, I am by no means an antitrust expert, but I do like how this article says, hey, this is nothing you would not expect a CEO to say, right? Mm-hmm. If they're under antitrust, kind of the crosshairs. I use Google more than ever today, and often I use Google in kind of non-Google branded products like YouTube.
Yeah.
So my perspective on Google's kind of dominance being tested right now, I don't have the data, but it doesn't reflect my personal experience with Google. I find them to be increasingly important in my life to a degree that maybe more than I ever expected. So that's all I can really say is my own personal take with it, is that Google doesn't seem to be going anywhere in my life.
No, and they're providing more and more essential tools to be able to operate in the workplace. And, they're certainly, they have adjusted their content and their search over the COVID period of time. There's so many different changes. In fact, Lily Ray actually posted in social the number of actual changes that they've been doing in the search result pages to be able to help people understand the challenges that they face. And that is truly a significant effort to be able to understand what they're trying to do for users and people internationally. I guess the challenge is, what is the DOJ? What are they trying to do? In the article, Matt is actually stating that the DOJ wants to break up these companies so they're not as powerful. But I mean, think about it. Are we really going to be experiencing a broken up Facebook or a broken up Google anytime soon? I really don't think so. Do you?
I couldn't tell you. I could tell you that I think it's going to take a lot of political will.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a lot of will that I don't necessarily see day to day in our political environment. I wish I saw more political will. Not necessarily for this, though. I think it is very important that we maintain competitiveness in the market.
Yep.
And if I were competing against Google, I think I'd have a tough time.
You better believe it. Speaking of competition, another article from Search Engine Journal from Roger Monti, always a great author out there and editor. Google comments on the idea that uses Google Analytics for ranking purposes. So Google's John Mueller clarified several points about the hypothesis that Google uses Google Analytics data for ranking purposes. So this has been a kicked around myth for well over a decade here. And the long and short of it is that there's always been an idea that Google that offered up Google Analytics, and by the way, that was a purchased platform called Urchin, which was the original analytics application out there, amongst others. But they actually bought Urchin up, and they did that because of providing a better environment to understand behavior from their Google AdWords platform to be able to share user experience, what have you. So, I mean, Google's statements have always been focused on the anonymized use of Google Analytics. They have said, yes, they'll use it, but they never apply it to understanding the behavior of a particular website. Moreover, it's just anonymized user data kind of as an aggregate across so many different industries and so many different websites. So the point is that they have said time and time again that there's a suite of services that they have. They use this data, but it is in an anonymized space. And our friend John Mueller from Google Web Trends Analytics jumped in there. He literally squashed the idea here. He came in and stepped in and unambiguously stated that Google does not use Google Analytics data for ranking purposes. He's flat out said, we don't use Google Analytics in search. He also said, Analytics and Search Console track data quite differently. Search Console tracks what's shown in search. Analytics shows what's happening when a user goes to the website. And he flat out said that there's an overlap, but it's not exact, and we do not use that data for any type of ranking purposes. So just trying to showcase to everybody, these are the heads of state of Google, and they're literally communicating. Look, they don't use this for anything else but understanding user data collectively on how people use the web. So with that, Max, what are your thoughts about that potential myth still sticking around?
Well, I like that it wasn't legal speak as a response. I know that Google, as every company does, can sometimes come off as with communication that seems opaque. It's not clarifying things, right? It's really vague. The idea of we don't use Google Analytics in search. Yep. I respect the clarity.
Absolutely. Unequivocal. They're saying, no, this is absolutely not part of it. So everybody just put down the tinfoil hat, all right, on this one. I'm sure you have plenty of other conspiracy theories out there, but they're not using the data, okay? And we trust John. We trust the guys at Web Analytics. So enough said. All right. We do want to also let you know who we trust from analysis of competition research. We trust Ahrefs, or Ahrefs is a fantastic tool set to be able to analyze your competitors, how they're getting their rankings of the links that they have, the keywords they're ranking on, and the content that's really scoring well for them. So check out Ahrefs, ahrefs.com. If you're looking at trying to figure out how you can actually get significant search traffic, their tools are going to be able to help you find topics worth creating pages on as well. So it's a great analysis tool, and we certainly appreciate their continued sponsorship of the show. All right, so last article, and I wanted to tee this up to Max because it's going to open the door for a lot of conversation in our interview from Social Media Today from Andrew Hutchinson's. Snapchat publishes a new study into evolving video consumption behaviors. Snapchat has published a new study which looks at evolving video consumption, particularly among younger audiences, and provides recommendations on how businesses can align their content efforts with these shifts. So highly recommend jumping over to the article and digesting what has been presented in this particular post. There's a lot of data there. So they actually went through and conducted a survey across a good deal of respondents aged 13 to 35 in the U.S., and while still Snap is actually localized, produces localized versions in the UK and Saudi Arabia as well. So they went through and got some actual really good insights here. First and foremost, the shift from video consumption on smartphone from 2014 to 2022 almost. We're at where they were at 2.5 hours of video consumption. We're now at a 4.5 hours a day, right? Video consumption and over the course of the last 6 years. So Max, there's certainly some additional data points we want to cover, but what do you think about the personal device consuming that much video content?
Yeah, I don't think I'm at 4 hours, but if I consume video content, it tends to, as I mentioned, be on YouTube. Yep. I have found a curated group of thinkers and content creators that I really appreciate, and I like my personalized ability to jump from one to the next. I find it to be very, very enjoyable. So I'm really glad YouTube's around, and I'm not surprised at all. I mean, the quality that I can see on my smartphone of video, it used to be, you remember the days of the pixelated video on the smartphone. It just seemed unfathomable to watch anything, longer than a 30-second clip. And that's just not the case anymore. And I can, this is not surprising. 4 hours a day, that does surprise me. But I guess if it's being switched with the TV time, that makes sense.
TV and desktop time. So desktops have actually dropped enormously. So, I mean, it's literally almost like an inverted scenario there.
It's not. It's up by an hour. Look at that. Hang on. Let me get back on the screen for you. I was just looking at
down,
it myself.
I mean, it's down by an hour from where it was.
But I was saying, I think it's interesting that like the mobile and desktop switch, but overall, when you add the numbers, it's up by an hour in just a few years. Yeah,
I see that.
That's scary. I mean, I know personally, I'm like at 4 or 5 hours of TikTok a day, but
how do you do that?
That's a lot of clips.
That's a lot of clips. So Gen Z, is that what you're doing in here on a regular basis? Gen Z and millennials, according to the study, are spending more minutes with mobile entertainment, with 73% of consumers watching more video on their smartphone than they did even a year ago. That's a huge jump in consumption here. But the stats that they actually put forth in almost like an infographic, 73% watch more video than they, like I said, on their smartphone a year ago. They actually broke down the mobile video and how it actually outpaces desktop. 50 minutes are spent on digital video with connected devices and on gaming consoles as well. Compared to and looking at the actual mobile video consumption during COVID, check this out, 85% are watching more video content on smartphone than, and this was up actually 4% in March 2020, 82% are actually watching more streaming on-demand shows, and 61% of the respondees are actually watching more live TV during this period of time. So what do you do whenever you're shut in at home, right?
Right.
You can either have babies or watch TV.
Right. There's a lot of, we all, I'll speak for myself. Escaping from the world is something that is on my mind a lot. And being able to hop into a YouTube video is a quick escape from the world. No, it can be at least.
No, you're absolutely right. And they actually break down the top 10 mobile video genres for Gen Z and millennials. 63% watch music videos, 50% entertainment and pop culture news, 63% gaming and esports, 49% beauty, and 44% run down the top 5 as food and cooking. I guarantee you that that's probably a larger percentage than what this study is giving credit for. Just coming up with recipes because, my gosh, now we're cooking at home. We're not going out nearly as much. Has anybody run out of recipes? Anybody?
Yeah, we've added a lot to the repertoire since COVID started, which has been nice. I think we had to rely more on the recipe list, and all of a sudden it got a lot bigger as a part of that reliance, which no downside there. Got some new pots and pans, good stuff.
Absolutely. Very good. And you know what? We really should be investing in more at-home meals. But my gosh, I did catch a stat. I can't remember what it was. I think it was from the Wall Street Journal that they ran a study that 60% of the restaurants that shut down during COVID are not going to reopen, and that's a terrible statistic. That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Who would have thought? I mean, we as an economy, as people got punched in the face.
Yep.
And, there's a lot of bruising. There's a lot of pain.
Yeah, you better believe it.
And it'll be a catalyst for a lot of really interesting changes.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So with that, those are the articles that we wanted to share with our audience this week. Certainly pay attention to what's happening in the hearings and all the news regarding Google and the tech and the big tech realm. I mean, there's got to be a middle ground on all of this, and we certainly lift up every player out there to be able to have some good common sense whenever we're talking through these kind of things. That's it from Edge of the Web for the news this week. Be sure to check out the full video of Max over link to this podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updated whenever we go live with the premiere as well. So from all of us over at Edge, be well, stay safe, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.